And Marty Reed with you from Budds Creek, Maryland for round number 5 of our AMA motocross season. The 250 riders now down at the gate preparing their positions, getting ready to go for their first moto.
And you see Larry Ward there to the left, getting his spot ready. Looked like he dropped his jersey in the Piranha tank. It's getting hot out there, and McGrath kicking that rut loose. May want to move about an inch or two to the right from the looks of the way he's building that up.
38 points ahead. Jeff Emig number 1. Damon Bradshaw and Doug Henry also preparing their areas. Bradshaw coming off his historic win. Marty's with him.
I remember when you first came back, you said, hey, I don't know how long this will take. It's just a steady, slow process. I'm just going to keep working at it until I get there. And you finally got there.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for us. You know, it was obviously muddy, and you know, I've won there a couple of times in the mud, and and a couple of times when it's dry, and the crowd there is always good to me at Mount Morris, so that really had a lot to do with me, being able to keep pushing like I did. I mean, I had a lot of mud in my eyes and a lot of mud everywhere, but the people kept me going, and it was a good win regardless of where it was, but I was glad it happened there.
Can Bradshaw repeat, or will the points leader Jeff Emig prevail? Jeff Emig has a good sizable lead on Jeremy McGrath coming into this 5th round. McGrath back by 38 points in back of Jeff Emig as we take a look at Phil Lawrence down at the line, riding for Chaparral.
Art, the starting gate here at Budds Creek is a lot lower than most. We get a shot of it here in a second. And look at the gate. It's only about maybe 10 inches off the ground where you can get it, jump right over it. Your front wheel will just knock it down if you win early.
They tried to do that at a GP several years ago. The Earls did it as we're ready for moto number 1. Oh, no, my goodness, on the hillside. And a couple of big names involved. Damon Bradshaw getting up there. That's Henry, number 20, just getting underway. And another wreck at the top of the hill. Emig, number 1, trying to restart. Mike Jones was delayed. John Dowd.
Looked like there was just no room. The first guy that got out of shape there looked like was number 23, Cliff Palmer. He went into Mike Jones, and then to his left, Henry and Bradshaw got collected. So now more problems for Bradshaw. He may have bent something.
Bradshaw looking down at the rear tire and is off the track. Getting his first pole shot of the outdoor season, McGrath won the 2 previous years here at this event. Ezra Lusk in 2nd place. LaRocco in 3rd. Big surprise there with a good start. Hughes, Antunez, and McCormick with good starts.
Looking good for Suzuki right now to have McGrath out front. Maybe this is what he needs with Emig going down in the first corner for McGrath to dig himself out of that points deficit right now in the title. He's got Lusk pushing him hard at the moment.
Ezra Lusk has had quite an eye-opening year. And look at LaRocco. He's pressing in 3rd.
First lap's always interesting. These guys, the track has changed considerably since practice. McGrath looks like he's very aggressive at the moment, way up over the handlebars, charging ahead, and not pulling away at all. Lusk is right there, so is his teammate and Ryan Hughes.
Lusk has had a very marketable year after getting his first Supercross wins ever on a 250. He came back in the outdoors to take a podium performance at Glen Helen, his best ever national outdoor appearance.
Oh, look at that line by Lusk. Went down and got into that berm, hit it hard, got right back out, and cut across the inside of that hill. We saw Wyndham earlier in our show on the 125 riding right across the top. Well, on a 125, that's a little easier. It's not as heavy. You can make that bike go pretty much wherever you want. 250, all that weight and inertia is going to carry him to the bottom of the hill.
Jeremy McGrath, the former 250 champion of 2 years ago, before Emig took the plate away from him last year, trying to fight back into the points race this season.
So 1 lap in the books. Jeremy's still clean and out front, but unable to pull away.
It's been a big difference. We've got a lead pack of 4 with Ryan Hughes on the caboose there, number 9.
In the early part of the race is when riders are the most vulnerable. They're not as warmed up, not as used to the racetrack. He's still trying to settle into a pace. It's the best time to make your moves. But for these 4 guys right now, they're already starting to pull away from the rest of the pack. I think they're all a little bit more patient at the moment, willing to let things sort themselves out and then start to make their moves later in the race.
With these 4 out in front makes things very interesting because we've had in the past 4 events 3 different winners. Jeff Emig, the only double.
Yeah, it's starting to look a little bit like the Supercross season did, where we had a lot of new talent up there. Pretty hard to pick a winner. It's hard to predict anything, and the outdoors is getting better and better.
A great crowd on hand, wonderful weather. Jeremy McGrath leads. We'll be right back.
3 incredible motorcycles. Each one takes the look of a custom to a beautiful new place. The new Honda Shadow Spirit 1100, the new Shadow Ace Tourer, and the Shadow American Classic Edition. It's always cooler in the shadows.
Hey, Dad! Look at this!
There are a lot of great things to do on your next vacation in Maryland. And they're all surprisingly close together. For your free travel guide, call 1-800-MD-IS-FUN. Maryland, so many things to do, so close together. Our museums bring out the kid in everyone. Visit the National Aquarium, the B&O Railroad, the Baltimore Zoo, the City Life Museums. For more information, call 1-800-MD-IS-FUN.
Is a new career in your future? Call Motorcycle Mechanics Institute today and get on the fast track to success. MMI graduate and Harley-Davidson service manager Randall Richards knows what it takes.
When I'm looking to hire new technicians, I need to find somebody who has a broad background and a solid understanding of how Harleys work. You know, somebody who is serious and efficient, ready to go with on-the-job training. I can always find these qualities in an MMI graduate.
Call 1-800-994-3664 today.
We're at Budds Creek, Maryland, after Ricky Carmichael swept the 125s. We're in the 250 action right now. Big battle for the lead. Ezra Lusk on the right. Jeremy McGrath, number 2, reestablishing things.
Well, Lusk has got a great drive off that plateau, but Jeremy on that inside line just took just the right speed, just the right line, so Lusk had nowhere to go.
This has always been number 5, so one of his favorite tracks anyway. He won here in 94 with a 1-1 sweep and took a second in 95. The big story here early in the race is the fact that the winner of the last event, Damon Bradshaw, is out of the race. Marty Reed has caught up with him now.
Well, the race ended for Damon Bradshaw before it ever really got started, right off the line, and here is the reason why. This is the chain guide. This is supposed to be straight up and down. When it's bent like this, it gets caught in the sprocket. When it gets caught in the sprocket, you don't go anywhere.
Going somewhere, those number 2, Jeremy McGrath, with Ezra Lusk, number 11, right on his tail. And then Mike LaRocco in 3rd place with Ryan Hughes, a very fast rider, not back that far, in 4th place.
This is exciting to see these guys stay so close together, and the way the track is laid out and has rutted up, the pace is very similar between these top riders, and it's just going to come down to who's in the best shape, who makes the least mistakes, who wants it the most in the end.
Ezra Lusk is showing his ability right at the right time. You call it a salary drive in baseball. But as far as motorcycles concerned, he's a free agent this next year, or at least that's the official word. We've heard he's signed with Honda.
Those are the rumors, and I can't imagine what would have prompted that switch. Maybe some great big dollars, or who's going to join him over there, because I know Honda's rebuilding, but it seems to me like he's found a happy home at Yamaha.
He's very appreciative of the support and backup that he's gotten at Yamaha, and they have first right of refusal on anything that might be offered him. Jeremy McGrath is our leader, fighting back this season from a slide injury. He came into Budds Creek 38 points down. He's determined to change that course of action, and it looks like he's doing it right now.
I think finally today here at Budds Creek I'm healthy, I'm able to ride well, the bike's working good, and I think from here on out, you should expect to see something very different than what's been happening in the past. Mount Morris, it was, of course, really muddy, and I had a pretty good first moto. Second moto, had problems with my bike and couldn't ride very well, so I finished 10th in that. But today I'm looking for a good, solid race.
He's got one going right now, but he's got a lot of pressure. A lead pack of 4 riders. Anything happens to Jeremy McGrath, and we've got a new leader.
This is kind of rare to see 4 guys still this close. Usually something's happened by now. Somebody makes a pass.
Oh! just as you say it. Ezra Lusk cuts to the inside. Jeremy McGrath all of a sudden is now in second place. Not from a mistake, really. Ezra Lusk just taking advantage of the situation.
You could see it in his eyes coming down that hill. He had his eyes on where he was going to hit that berm. Right here, he goes for the inside. You see he's got his fingers in the clutch. Just explodes out of the inside berm right there. He already had made the pass on Jeremy before they made the exit of the corner. And that's how great the racing can be when it's that close. If Jeremy just, I mean, he didn't make a mistake. He just chose a line that left the door open just a little bit too much. Lusk rode right through it. Now it looks like Lusk is starting to break free a little bit of this pack.
Ezra Lusk looking like he's serious of popping into the top 5 in the points chase now. He's had 2 pretty good previous events leading into this one. As we take a look at Jeff Emig trying to fight his way now in 19th place up through the pack.
Well, he's got a chance to get up to probably in the top 5, 5th. I don't see any way he's going to catch those top 4 guys unless one of them goes down or has a problem.
Realizing that it was rare that you ever got as far back as Emig is right now, David Bailey. But what went through your mind when you got that far back?
Points. You're just thinking about the title and making up as many points as you can and not making the kind of mistakes where you're going to go down again and lose more. You just try to keep your cool, realize, well, you know, probably through the entire series, everyone's going to have a big problem. Here's mine. Hopefully that's my last one, and try to make the best of it.
Ezra Lusk is trying to pull a pretty good lead as we've got a Team Suzuki battle behind him right now. Jeremy McGrath and Mike LaRocco.
You got to be wondering what's going through McGrath's mind after that interview. He wants to turn things around, and right now he's just getting past.
Uh-oh, something's wrong with Larry Ward's Honda of Troy machine. He's pulling off in the mechanics area. Marshall Plum, his mechanic there, shouting what might be wrong with it. A very frustrated Larry Ward, number 6. Ward getting a 3rd place overall in Sacramento and a 4th place overall in the last race at Mount Morris.
LaRocco carrying a lot of speed up into that corner as he goes over that double jump, led up into that off camber. He came in and stayed in that loose stuff out there where the traction is. Was able to get a good drive going through the corner. He's a little bit less of an off camber because of his approach. His lines seem to be coming together a little bit better than Jeremy's, I think, right now.
Ryan Hughes right behind LaRocco in 4th place. Buddy Antunez in our top 5. We'll be back with more Moto 1 action in a moment.
Are you ready for more action, more danger, more impact? Well, your wait is over. The hottest, most intense, extreme crash impact ever. Crash Impact 2. 70 minutes of explosive, heart-stopping crash action. You have to see to believe. All new crashes from Superbikes, Harley Series, drag racing, stock cars, sprint cars, Supercross, Indy cars, flat track, and more. All jam-packed on 2 tapes for only $19.95. Order now and get absolutely free the new Extreme Sports Virtual Reality, featuring insane extreme sports from around the world like you've never seen before. You'll get the all-new Crash Impact 2, plus the Extreme Sports video free. 3 tapes that'll blow you away. Guaranteed or your money back.
To order, call 1-800-248-3773. That's 1-800-248-3773. Or send $19.95 plus $5.95 shipping and handling to the address on your screen.
Just like Shaq and just like Jordan, we've got our own shoe endorsement deals.
When people think wingtips, we want people to think Gary Miller wingtips.
The advertising is slick.
You're a very animated character, so it makes sense to put you with an animated character. This is you, and this is Billy the Bear.
This doesn't even look like me.
No, this is you.
The shoe companies know what they're doing. They wouldn't be coming after us if this wasn't working.
Gary Miller, wouldn't you like to be in his shoes?
We're back in the middle of things right here at Budds Creek, Maryland. Our first moto of our 5th round of the season. Taking the lead, Ezra Lusk, Team Yamaha. You saw him just go by the picture right there. In 2nd place, number 2, Jeremy McGrath, but getting all kinds of pressure from Mike LaRocco, a Team Suzuki teammate.
You know, I talked to Jeremy coming into this race during the week, bumped into him, and he was just saying how he was a little bit sore from riding so much. He'd been injured and wasn't able to ride, but here he's been able to practice, getting passed by LaRocco again now. It's the 2nd time, and You know, you hear in this interview that he wants to really turn things around, and he had the chance to ride. He's feeling healthy again, got the whole shot, and it's still not enough. You got to be wondering what's going through his mind.
Well, one thing, it's been an exhausting year, David Bailey, for him. Getting on new machinery, testing for the first time, and just all kinds of energy spent on non-race days trying to get the program up to par, which he's done a great job of doing. Marty Reed now is in the mechanics area. Let's check in with him and Jeremy's mechanic.
Why, it looks like your old rider is giving your new rider all he can handle.
Yeah, Rhino's riding really well. It was good to see a whole shot, and I thought he was going to hang on to it, but I mean, I hope there's no problems. Seemed to maybe be a little bit tight right now. I don't know, hopefully I'd like to be able to get by Mike and get those points. We got Jeff behind us and a really good opportunity to make up a lot of points. I'd like to take advantage of it.
Ryan Hughes coming off his best performance of the year at Mount Morris. So 1-3 for a second overall. His first win since the famous 125 title chase back in 1995 in the outdoors.
And even after finishing second overall at Mount Morris with an incredible ride from Bradshaw in the last lap to get around Ward, which put him to second overall, he was just disgusted with it. So he is not going to be happy until he wins. He wants to get around all of these guys. He knows he's fast enough. He's got enough experience, and that's where he expects to be, is out there in front.
Jeremy McGrath working hard, up and down. Uh-oh. Doug Henry in 13th place, but he's just putting around. Could this be the after effects of the crash right at the start of the race, David?
Maybe. Could have punctured something, put a hole in the pipe, or it's really starting to smoke. I haven't seen that since Hangtown, and that was a leaky seal I think they had.
Yeah, I think this is a different type of smoke, though. They're looking up front. Pete Steinbrecher, his mechanic, Doug Henry, with some bad luck here at Budds Creek as we take a look at Jeremy McGrath now getting hounded by Ryan Hughes.
It's just one rider after another, just putting the pressure on Jeremy until they find their way around. And all I can figure is that, you know, Jeremy in this series really hasn't gotten the whole shot and been out front very many times. So it could be that it's been so long and maybe he's a little uncomfortable out there riding tight. Later in the race, he may loosen up just a little bit and start to ride more like he's capable of.
Jeremy McGrath winning last year here and the year before, 2 years in a row. In fact, he swept it last year. Emig a second place. Henry was at third, and it was Henry's first 250 podium in the outdoors last year here at Budds Creek. Right now, Henry's on the sideline, and McGrath is fighting for his life.
There goes Steinbrecher pushing that thing back to the pits, and it's a testing year for that four-stroke, and right there's your guinea pig. Look at the hands on his jersey from this, I guess for their Father's Day. These guys are sporting the hands.
And feet in the back. See the little foot back there? The Henrys, of course, proud parents this year. He's celebrating Father's Day for the first time, as is Mike LaRocco and John Dowd. They all have the baby prints on their jerseys. You know, we noticed Jeremy McGrath going wide on that last berm back there. Ryan Hughes simply right there trying to take advantage of one of those breaks.
Well, Jeremy just got out to that berm and wasn't leaned into the corner, and it lost his balance a little bit. Just momentarily, that allowed Ryan to get up there and just keep pressure on. Ryan's trying everything. Jeremy is not going to make it easy for him, that's for sure. He's countering every move. Right here, Ryan squared that corner off. He's just going to out horsepower. Look at that. Jumps. That's just a strength move right there, because you slow down a little bit to land on the level. If you jump out there where Ryan did, you land on the face of that next hill, and it's just kabam right there into the face of that jump. You bottom out. And no stranger for Ryan to be able to pull off a move like that.
So a frustrating moment for Jeremy McGrath, who led this race, taking the whole shot, led for 5 laps, and now finds himself slipping back. That's after a lot of pressure by some talented riders, though. Here at Budds Creek, it's Ezra Lusk out in front with LaRocco and Hughes 2 and 3.
Walk in with no down payment. Ride off with a new Honda Shadow or Magna. Walk in, get low financing. Ride off with a Honda Goldwing or Valkyrie. Walk in at the right time. Ride off with a CBR 600 F3 and a custom watch while supplies last. Until July 31st, get low financing, no down payment, and a custom watch with selected models at your Honda dealer. The Honda Ride-Off. Walk in, ride off.
What lower round draft pick could become his team's leading rebounder this year? The Sporting News knows. Do you? What surprising rookie could power his team to the Super Bowl? The Sporting News knows. And you can too by calling now to claim your no-cost 4-issue Sporting News mini subscription. Plus, get these great sports binoculars free. Call now for your no-cost 4-issue Sporting News mini subscription. If you like it, get 24 more issues, 28 in all, for 4 payments of just $4.99. Call now.
For years, ESPN has been working to improve sports for the fan.
With this new helmet, ESPN commentators can interview a batter while he's at the plate. Slugger Mickey Mantle demonstrates.
Hey, Mick. Can you hear us, Mick? Is this distracting? Boycotted by players, the helmet did lead to a breakthrough in coverage for all sports. ESPN Sports Zone, with Peter Gammon's baseball column, player profiles, everything you need to be a better fan. ESPN Sports Zone, technology for you.
Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Marty Reed back at Budds Creek, Maryland. First moto of the 250 action. Glad you could join us as Ezra Lusk on the final lap is way out in front. Ezra taking over, passing Jeremy McGrath, and moving on. Here's number 5, Mike LaRocco. This would be the best moto finish of his season so far. And Jeff Emig, who was near last after the incident in the first turn of the first lap, is fighting his way back up to 5th spot.
Great ride for him to come from that far back. But the way he's been riding this year, the confidence he's got, I'm sure he knifed through those guys. He was already up into the top 10 early in the race. And so it wasn't that tough for him to get into 5th, but to try to catch these guys, just impossible. They had a huge lead already after the first couple of laps. So you see Emig as he went over that plateau looking over to see if there's anybody else within striking distance before this checkered flag.
Emig with 5 moto wins, just trying to pick up points, doing exactly what you said you would do under those circumstances, David, as Mike LaRocco comes over the hill. Here is our clear-cut winner, Ezra Lusk. It would take a major disaster crash, and he's riding so smooth right now and so slow, I doubt that ever happened. Ezra Lusk looking for the checkered flag.
He's got a great style. I really like the way he has matured on the 250, and the way he just floats around the track. His style actually, to me, seems like it's changed a little bit for the better. Really fun to watch.
Up the hill to the checkered flag. Ezra Lusk, his first outdoor national 250 checkered flag, as he got his first Supercross 250 flag earlier in the year. It's Lusk, LaRocco, McGrath holds on for 3rd. Ryan Hughes in 4th. Phil Lawrence a good 6th. Marty Reed now is close to our winner.
Let's see, if my history book refreshes my memory, this would be your first moto win since 125s back in '94 at Hangtown, and your first 250 for sure. Congratulations.
Well, thanks a lot. I just want to thank the good Lord Jesus Christ for keeping me safe out there, and all my sponsors, Yamaha, CTI Knee Braces, Gary Simics, Fox Racing, all those guys. And yeah, it's my very first moto win on a 250, and about halfway through I really got pumped up and I couldn't do nothing, but I started loosening up a little bit and I started to pull back a little lead.
It was a race of attrition. Bradshaw, Henry, Ward all going out with mechanical problems. LaRocco, though, came through in 2nd place. Let's go back to Marty.
What do you like about this track? I mean, you had a great run here last year, and boy, you were closing in the late stages here.
Actually, it's a good track. It's a fun track, and it's a little bit fast, a little bit hard to make up time, but we had a few weeks out before this race, and I took my time, and I started feeling better towards the end of the week, and came here ready to race.
Obviously, but I mean, is there one particular element that you can put your finger on other than the rest? I mean, you do well at this track every time I've seen you.
Nah, I think if I had to pinpoint everything, it's confidence, whether I ride with it or without it. And today I felt pretty good, thanks. And, that's the bottom line.
We'll see you in the second moto.
All right, thanks.
It's been a consistent year for Jeremy McGrath. Ryan Hughes moved in front of him. Then Jeremy came firing back to hold on to 3rd place. Let's go back to Marty.
Down here with Jeremy McGrath, 3rd place, but it was a dogfight to pick up that position.
Yeah, actually in the beginning I was riding real defensive, and trying to protect my lines instead of just riding my own race. And it's the first time I got a good start in a while. Actually, it's the first good race for me in a while.
Tell me if I'm learning anything about this, because Watching you in a couple of sections where I could see it looked like the bike was pretty stiff because you were bouncing all over the place compared to some other people. Did you feel that out there? Is that something you may want to change?
We might want to soften the shock a little. It's getting pretty choppy out there, but overall, I think it was just had to do with the first half of my race. I wasn't sprinting like I usually do, and you know, I'm happy with my ride because I've had a hurt foot for a while and I haven't really been riding good. So towards the end there, I came on.
Hey, we'll see you in the second moto.
I sure hope so.
Once Ezra Lusk got rolling in Supercross, it was look out. Can he come back and take another one? We'll be right back.
For years, KTM has been a quiet company. Things have changed. Last year, we unleashed our four-strokes on the racing world, taking the AMA West four-stroke motocross championships by storm. If we can do this on a Supercross track, just think how much fun you'll have on our off-road and street-legal models. Listen for them at your local KTM dealer during KTM's 30-year anniversary celebration.
Here. Oh, man, I knew this was gonna happen. I don't want to smoke pot, but I can't just say no. I want to hang with these guys. They're my friends. What if my parents find out? What if my parents know? What if I cough? I'll look weird. If I don't, I'll look cool. No, I won't. I'll look stupid. If I smoke, I could lose it. If I don't, I could lose my friends. No, thanks. Cool, man.
Don't want to, don't have to.
Being a WNBA groupie, you're not just a piece of meat. Nice game. But appearance is important. When I was a kid, I used to love Clemente, but this is way different than that.
AMA Motocross on ESPN2 is being brought to you by Suzuki. Your Suzuki dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. Well, Mike LaRocco's wife, Elizabeth, gave birth to their first child just a few days ago, and here's John Dowd with the newest addition of his family. An appropriate picture for Father's Day, seen earlier in the pits, as now we go down to the starting line. And pretty casual moment for these riders, David.
Yeah, it's just like something during the week, like they're just out on the golf course or something, talking about who knows what.
That looked like Jeremy was talking about an upside-down experience. Ezra Lusk looking very cool. There's Mike LaRocco Sr. in back of Mike LaRocco Jr. After going such long motos, how can they look so relaxed?
I think it's not relaxed, it's tired. There's a difference.
It could be. As we're getting set to go, they're starting to rev the engines here for moto number 2 in Budds Creek, Maryland. Known for its topography and high speeds. Let's see if it's a clean start this time. Whoa, Jason McCormick getting the whole shot, Bunny. Right there, though, is Ezra Lusk. Lusk moving right in front of 52 at that moment. Ezra out in the lead once again, this time at the beginning of the race.
That was an aggressive move coming down the hill. They just about got together with McCormick as their lines were both looking for that inside, but Lusk had a lot of momentum, went right by him.
Lusk, McCormick, number 52. There's John Dowd, number 14. Jeremy McGrath in for it.
Another good, decent start for Jeremy. He's got a good look at the lead, but the way Lusk rode that first moto, getting around him, well, he's going to need to get up there and challenge right away. But Jeremy seemed happy with the second half of his race, and I think maybe I was right. I was kind of guessing, but I thought maybe it had been a while since he'd run up front like that, and just a little uncomfortable with it, and that was the case.
We got word on Henry's machine in the first moto. It was a sliced radiator hose, and it was incredible the bike lasted that long. That was the smoke. It was steam.
So Emmett getting around Jeremy in the early going here. They hadn't seen any of each other in the first moto because of the start that Emmett got.
Emmett's on a tear.
There you see the shadow from the helicopter. They're just giving people rides out here today. You know, they used to have a helicopter always at the USGP out in Carlsbad, and every once in a while that guy get down pretty low and close to the track, and you couldn't hear your engine. All you could hear is this helicopter out there. It would kind of mess up your concentration.
Ezra Lusk still in the lead, number 11, but he's got a lot of fast riders right behind him, not far behind. Jason McCormick in an unaccustomed second place, though, but a talented privateer. And then John Dowd, who's always strong. Here comes Emmett cutting inside Dowd. They do a little bump. Dowd goes off the track. Emig moves into third.
Emig means business this moto. He went by Jeremy and went around Dowd there with authority, sent Dowd off into the trail ride. Some big rain ruts off to the side of the track right there. Good thing he didn't get caught up in that, but he wants to stay in contact with Lusk. He knows that Lusk was obviously riding good the first moto. Look at that pass.
Oh, an easy pass at the finish line jump there. Very popular place to pass today.
Well, I'll tell you what, it looks easy, but what he just did right there, Emig, I mean, he came up that hill just smoking and flew right into the corner, jumped his way past into second, and he means business right now. He is aggressive. He's not looking back. He wants the lead.
Jeff Emig would dearly love to get his second 250 championship in a row. That has not happened in the 1990s.
Well, he's certainly in a good position to do it.
McCormick going down out of our picture, and John Dowd taking advantage of it. And look at Dowdy. He's coming up on the back wheel of Jeff Emig.
Great trainer riders coming into that off camera there. Doug Henry at the tail end of that, so a little better showing for Henry so far this moto.
Of course, Dowd looking forward, as always, to the next race up in Southwick, where he gets back toward his native New England. I'm sure Doug Henry will be looking forward to that too. And Jeff Emig is putting on a good rush here at Budds Creek.
You can see Lusk just at the top of the screen there, so Emig has got him in sight. He's going to keep him there if he can.
Well, that shows you the speed of Emig, because Lusk has really been pouring it on. Ezra Lusk, number 11. That's number 14, John Dowd in third, trying to catch up with Jeff Emig. Uh-oh. Henry's down. And it doesn't look good, David.
No, it looks like he's gotten the wind knocked out of himself.
Here's the number 20, the four-stroke, the European colors. And he's going over toward the crowd. Oh, this does not look good at all. He's asking them to take his goggles off. Both arms rather limp. The fans now obliging to take his helmet off for him.
Well, he was reaching up, I think, with his left arm to take the goggles off.
They're calling for some medical help as well.
Now he's just got both arms to his sides.
Doug Henry, Budds Creek has certainly been an awful place for him to ride. And of course, all of us will never forget the horrendous crash in '95, breaking his back and then coming all the way back. You just hate to see anything happen to Doug Henry. Ezra Lusk is still our leader. Emig in second, Dowd third, McGrath in fourth, with Buddy Antunez in the top five. We'll return.
Walk in with no down payment. Ride off with a new Honda Shadow or Magna. Walk in, get low financing. Ride off with a Honda Goldwing or Valkyrie. Walk in at the right time. Ride off with a CBR 600 F3.
25 National Championship Series, where it all began for Jeff Emig, number 8. Here getting a great start in Moto 1 ahead of number 7, Mike LaRocco. LaRocco had to have problems, and he did. A broken shift lever. You can see the frustration of both Mike and his dad. Mike Sr. throws the pit board, the headset, everything he can get his hands on. He realizes the championship is slipping away, but he didn't give up. He stayed out there for the rest of the moto, trying to gather all the points he could, but it was Emig who took the checkers for Moto 1. In second moto, the rain began to fall, and Jeff Emig pulled the whole shot. Further back in the pack was LaRocco, having to come from behind. Towards the end of the race, with an incredible charge all the way up to the back tire of Jeff Emig, a great ride, but not enough, as Emig took the sweep and his first national championship.
Back to this year's action. Budds Creek, Maryland. Henry in definite pain. It looks like both his arms. We'll have to recheck once we get word. I know Marty's trying to get some more information on it right now. Out in front still Ezra Lusk, as we're looking for the battle between Buddy Antunez, number 19, and Mike LaRocco. LaRocco, the more aggressive of the two, but Buddy Antunez just not letting him off the hook. Look at that. Buddy, the privateer who won the Arena Cross action this year, bought a new ski boat with the bonus from that, which Jeff Emig's going to take full advantage of in the offseason. But look at this battle between LaRocco and Antunez. Number 6 is Larry Ward, who had all kinds of bad luck with his machine freezing up or seizing in the first moto.
He did an aggressive move to the inside. He makes the, well, I thought he made the pass. Just about the time it looks like they're making a pass on him, they can't quite get around. Look at this.
A traumatic sight, especially when you know the history of Doug Henry and Budds Creek, thanks to the good medical corps they've got on hand.
Now they're on top of the situation. They've got him with some oxygen there, it looks like, and they've already got both arms wrapped up. And geez, I mean, it's painful to watch. I mean, of all people, you really don't want to see Doug have any trouble in both arms. I mean, he couldn't even take his goggles off. That's a pretty good indication of what's going to be happening to him for the next month or so.
One of the most dramatic stories in Supercross history, of course, was him coming back this year to not only win and lead the points, but also be the first 4-stroke victory in Supercross history. We're looking right now at his Team Yamaha teammate, John Dowd, number 14. He's on the move in 3rd.
Dowd sure is riding good. The more I see him ride this 250, the better I like it. I mean, I thought he did a great job riding the 125, and I've said this before, but I really believe that he belongs on a 250. And boy, if he can keep some of this momentum he's had lately going into Southwick, he'd be a real favorite there.
Well, really putting him back on the 125s for Supercross was just to fill a spot for Team Yamaha, really.
Well, he just realized that with the rest of the guys on the team, that's what he was going to have to do, and he didn't complain about it. He went out there and did the job, and man, he really racked himself up good. Look at the marks all over his back. It's one of the uphill doubles where he was laying down there, so it's, I guess, safe to assume that he just got out of shape there and didn't quite make it up all the way. Now,
obviously, he cased it.
Yeah,
cased it hard.
Getting close.
Ezra Lusk, Jeff Emig. Oh, now it's when things really get interesting on the track. When you got a guy who's leading the points and wants to extend that lead. A long season motocross, especially when you consider each event is 2 30-minute motos. Jeff Emig wants to pick it up right here. Ezra Lusk, the winner in the first moto, though, David, is not giving up easily.
No, he's going to make it tough. Lusk, this is when we came back to that shot. I mean, he's just doing everything so nice. The way he came out of that berm and landed on the side of that bank there, just so he could miss some of those bumps and get the wheel back to the ground, or if you could call it that. It's actually the side of a cliff right there, and he's just floating around the track, and it's still not enough. Emig is still slicing into that lead.
And John Dowd sneaks into our picture every now and then in 3rd place. If anything should happen to the lead, too, Dowdy's right there. Ooh, look at that roost.
That hurts, but at this point in the race, yeah, you've forgotten about all that stuff. It just makes you mad, really. You just want to get around. You don't want to feel it. You want to do it to them.
Ezra Lusk closes off the inside, but barely. And Emig takes the high route like Wyndham did in the 125s.
Could just see that coming. You could see Emig setting it up as he came through there. And I know Lusk is smart enough to have anticipated that, but he just tried to go around the corner fast enough so that Emig wouldn't be able to get there in time. But Emig was just slick enough to get in there and just close the door.
So Emig, with his smooth riding style, will he take away with this second moto? Ezra Lusk and John Dowd, teammates behind him, and Jeremy McGrath moves into 4th.
They can quickly
the last rider to win back-to-back 250 outdoor national championships. As we take a look at the action now, the mechanics having a good laugh. Jeremy Albrecht on the left, Steve Butler on the right.
It's not as funny out here for these guys as it is in that mechanics there. Let me tell you, you're getting tired. Lusk wants this win. He knows if he can stay where he is, he'll probably get the overall. And
oh, here comes Dowdy, his teammate, passing him for 2nd place. We've got a polite but tremendous battle for 2nd place.
I'm impressed with Dowd more and more. I mean, he has just come on stronger and stronger on this 250, and to where he is a threat to win a moto at any given time. And this could be one of them right here.
He has to get by number 1, Jeff Emig, though.
Front end almost washed out on him right there. Look at that.
Oh, he tried the same move, but oh no, Dowdy goes down. Didn't have the power, couldn't keep the balance on the off camber.
He got himself just a little off balance as he entered that corner. just before this, his front end washed out. If that hadn't happened, he'd had about another wheel length, but then all he needed to just take them both out, and then Lusk would have been back in the lead.
David, you pointed out earlier about how you have to get that momentum and balance up top and not slip down too early. Otherwise, it's disastrous. All we've had was good passes in that corner to look at before.
Well, there's an example of what happens when you drift down a little bit too far. He maybe could have made that pass, but he stayed up in that high side. It takes so much finesse. It's so hard to keep a 250. You have to set up for that corner, and the front end just wants to wander down the hill, and it takes a lot of strength and just a great balance to keep it up there like that.
Boy, the rocks are starting to show here on this track now, as this is moto number 2 of the 250s. After the 125s and all the preliminary races, we've got some pretty good-sized boulders coming up through.
And right there is a good example of one of the berms that was so nice in the first moto, and now it's really starting to get torn into. When the guys hit it, they push it out, and you can't stay in it all the way around. So Emig getting in and getting out early there.
Emig out in front, but Lusk is right there, and Dowdy wasted little time getting up.
That corner's changed quite a bit too over the course of the day. Earlier it was hard packed and slick. Then in the beginning of the moto, you saw guys going in there hard and pulling in the clutch, locking up the rear wheel and spinning it around and getting out. Now there's a berm.
Lusk didn't even go all the way to the berm, and there's Jeremy McGrath who's sneaking into the picture. Jeremy just not giving up. That'll give you a good sign of his attitude.
Well, he wants to turn things around, but doing it's a whole different deal. At least it's good to see him out there trying as hard as he can. And I don't mean to say that he hasn't been trying, but certainly he's able to put forth a lot better effort now because of his physical condition.
And so Jeff Emig continues to lead with Ryan Hughes rounding out our top 5. We'll be back later, but the battle seems to be for second place right now with Ezra Lusk, number 11, out of Bainbridge, Georgia, who won the first moto, and John Dowd, who's always tough and strong toward the end of each moto.
And don't think just because Dowd fell that's it, because this guy can fall, get right back up, bent handlebars or whatever happens to him, and get right back into the flow that he had. It doesn't look like he is finished with Lusk yet. You see right there how rough it is coming out of that corner. Lusk got on the gas and he kind of high side a little bit, stood up a little bit too straight too early. Hit some of those bumps, had to let off. It's hard to get over that double jump now, trying to get a run out of that corner and get enough speed to go up there. You can see Lusk needs a lot of body English to get the bike all the way over that second jump.
Dowd, of course, having the tough luck in the opening portion of the first moto, ending up in 11th place. He's just coming off a wonderful race at Mount Morris, where he had a 2nd and a 6th for a 3rd overall. John Dowd would like to continue his climb up the points ladder. He's had a pretty decent time of it. A 4th overall in the first race, an 8th in the 2nd, a 5th in the 3rd, and a 3rd place in the last event.
And both these guys know, too, Dowd and Lusk, they realize what the overall picture is. Lusk is going to win this thing if he stays upright. And he's just enjoying it out there. I'm sure he'd like to finish ahead of Emig, but he's not going to want to take any ridiculous chances to go out there and throw away an overall. And Dowd realizes that if he's going to make a pass, it better be a nice, clean one.
His veteran mechanic is Brian Berry. He's been with John Dowd quite a while. Let's go down to Marty, who's with him.
Brian, it looks like he's closing on second place.
Yeah, he's been right there about 2 or 3 laps now, and I don't know. Looks like it's a pretty good battle right now. I don't think he's, overly faster than either one of them guys. It's going to be a good battle all the way to the end, I think.
Any team orders here?
No, it's too early in the season for that, and plus we don't affect Jeff or John. Don't affect him for the overall. As long as he stays ahead of Jeremy, he's pretty much all set. So.
Brian Berry, one of the more expressive mechanics off camera. He really gets involved in it emotionally as we get back to the action. Jeff Emig is our leader, but Ezra Lusk is gunning for his first overall.
That was interesting too, Art. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but as he came down that downhill, he just gassed it to the inside, tried to put these 2 lappers between himself and Dowd. I think he feels a little threatened by Dowd, knows he can get around. He doesn't want that to happen.
It'd be too bad, though, if he made a mistake because of just pressuring himself and possibly losing an overall. Right now, Jeremy McGrath is not in position. Ryan Hughes is not in position, even though it's one of Ryan's better runs of the year.
Well, it's unfortunate to think that it's one of his better runs of the year, and it's going to be, if it stays the way it is, a 4th and a 5th. I know he's not happy with that, especially after having a chance at the overall of Mount Morris, winning a moto, to come back thinking, okay, now I've found my rhythm. I know I'm fast enough. I won a moto, and to come here and get a 4th and a 5th and to ride your tail off all day, that's not a good place to be.
Especially after the encouraging signs of a 1 and 3 and taking 2nd overall in the last event. Jeremy McGrath, as it stated, in 4th place, just wouldn't give in. Would not give up after going backwards a bit.
Maybe these guys are just a little too friendly over there at the starting line. They needed to punch each other and get each other mad. I mean, they've both ridden great today. You know, Jeremy's had his best ride in a while. He realized he's working his way up the ladder, and Ryan's been right there pushing. He got around him the first moto. Jeremy got him back at the end. But these guys have ridden hard all day, and to finish, you know, off the pace, it's got to make them think, boy, what am I doing wrong?
Despite what's an obvious desire to catch Jeff Emig, they just can't do it.
Well, they've had their chances. Jeremy was ahead of Emig in the beginning of the race, and Emig passed him on the first lap, and that was the end of that.
Kawasaki has won at least one national 13 consecutive years. That's the longest streak in 250 motocross history. Ryan Hughes continues a comeback from an unlucky year.
It seems like it's starting to roll. You know, my knee's been bothering me a little bit, but you know, that's kind of the back of my mind. You know, I'm really happy. I've been riding good. The bike's been working good. Kawasaki's been really behind me, and today's kind of a special day for me. You know, it's Father's Day, and I want to do good for somebody. And you know, the track has been good to me in the past, and you know, hopefully it'll be good to me today.
Well, he's good to himself, really. He's made the most of his opportunities today.
Well, he's tried as hard as he can, and some days you just have to walk away and know you did your best, and if you keep doing that, somewhere along the line it's going to pay off.
He's hounding Jeremy McGrath once again here in Moto 2.
That would be a little victory if he could just make that pass stick this time. He tried the first moto and couldn't quite do it. Jeremy said he started feeling a little better towards the end and got him back here. I think this is about as good as Jeremy's going to feel today, and if Ryan's going to make his move, he better do it quick.
Way out in front is Jeff Emig still. If he should hold on to that position, he could not get the overall, but he would take 2nd place and win his 6th moto of the year. But the real battle here is between Jeremy McGrath and Ryan Hughes.
There's a couple of ways to look at this from McGrath right now. I mean, he doesn't want to have anybody pressure him. He's tired. He's had a long day. He's given it all he's got. And then you got Ryan just bugging you. You know he's not going to leave you alone. He's going to keep the pressure on. And the other way it's good is, the way to look at it is that Ryan is keeping the pressure on him, forcing Jeremy to ride 100% for the entire moto. That's what he needs. So when he gets in that situation again, it has a chance to battle with Emig out front, if that's who it is. He'll be used to that. He'll be able to carry it all the way to the checkered flag.
Great example back there, using that back brake to tight turn to the left before we switch now to the battle for 2nd place. Ezra Lusk is getting pressure from John Dowd, his teammate.
This is that off camber where so many wild things have taken place today. A lot of good passes through there, and that's where Dowd went down earlier trying to make a pass on Emig. Look how close they are.
Yeah, both Yamahas are catching up to Emig now. This has been a polite battle, not one that has hampered their progress toward 1st place. And welcome back to the final moments. In fact, we're on the final lap with Jeff Emig, our leader, but not by much. Ezra Lusk, number 11. John Dowd in 3rd place, number 14.
Oh, and that corner back there after that long straightaway, Lusk just flew in there, flew over that double. You could hear him. He just had that thing pegged. Had a good line. He's got the pressure on Emig right now. He's definitely within striking distance. One mistake by Emig in this last lap, which is where they usually come when there's the most pressure. And Lusk will win another moto. Emig's been pretty solid this year, though. I don't expect to see him make any mistakes, but Lusk is doing the right thing. Stay as close as you can, take different lines, scream that throttle, make him think about you.
Already tied for 11th on the all-time list, Jeff Emig with 27 career wins.
I think over the next couple of years, the way he's been riding, he's probably going to double that figure. He won't be able to add to it here today as far as an overall victory, but certainly moving closer to his 2nd title. Lappers getting out of the way.
Lappers have not been a big problem on this track.
No, but if you're Jeff Emig, you're nervous about it. Every time you see a little cluster of those guys, you're going, please. That's happened to me before. You get the guy thinking he's going to You don't know what they're doing. They put one hand up saying go this way, and they move to the other side, and that's always to the advantage of the chasers.
Jeff Emig closing in on a victory here in the moto, while Ezra Lusk is looking forward to an overall. He definitely doesn't want to find himself going down.
No, he's far enough around now that he could probably drop it and get up and still pick up the overall.
It's been a year of firsts for Ezra Lusk as the checkers fly for Jeff Emig. 6 moto wins out of 10 motos on the year. Emig, Lusk, Dowd, McGrath, and Hughes are top 5. Checking out the top 10, Bradshaw sneaks up there despite his problems. Marty's with our winner.
Nice run to come back after a bad start in the first moto. I don't know if you were aware of this, but 5 seconds blanketed the top 5 at the finish line.
Yeah, it's good racing. It's good for the fans. I'm just real happy that I was leading the pack.
Did you ease up at all at any point in this race?
I did a little bit when I got past Yogi, and then I thought that I would kind of pull out. And then I realized who was back there, and I knew that they'd be pushing, real hard, all the way to the end. But I'd like to congratulate Yogi on his win, and thank Team Kawasaki and Bridgestone, for giving me the opportunity to come back and win that second moto.
His last outdoor national victory was in the 125s back in 1994. Ezra Lusk, the overall victor. As we take a look at the top 10, Button and Lawrence doing a fine job. Let's go back to Marty now.
I don't know how to put a preface on this except a spectacular day. This was the closest finish the top 5 has ever had that we've been covering the series. 5 seconds blanketed all 5 of you.
Well, that's what you work hard for, to come out here and battle to the very last lap and see what happens, Jeff was a little faster than me out there that moto, but I rode good, I rode smart, and this is the first time I really battled with a champion like that, so I'm happy. I won the overall too, so.
You know it's a happy day for Jeff Emig. Look at the points lead now. 41 points separating he and Jeremy McGrath in second place. John Dowd moves to third. Let's go back to Marty.
This was a great dogfight. I don't know if you enjoyed it as much as we did, but I told the other guys, I'm sure you're not aware of it. 5 seconds blanketed the top 5, and you were right in the thick of it.
I could see them guys in front of me, and I could see the Rhino and Jeremy, I think, behind me, and it looked like one little mistake, and I don't know, I had a little mistake, but luckily it was a small one. I just kind of tipped over in the corner, and I was able to get up, before Jeremy got to me. But besides that, I felt pretty good. I was just couldn't stay on my bike today, though.
Happy days for Emig and Lusk. On a more serious note, Doug Henry, 2 broken arms, probably out for the season. Art Ekman for David Bailey and Marty Reed saying thank you so much for being with us. This has been a production of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
Glengarry Motocross track. We done come over here, take a look at this bike filter, test for twin power. This is a twin power filter. Been through 3 rides on very, very dusty track, and it's very, very ugly. We'd be very surprised to see if this dirt didn't go through, but we wouldn't be surprised at all if it had. So here it goes.